Do you really need carbs and fiber? The answer is going to kind of shock you. Now, a lot of individuals ask me all the time, why don't you eat carbs? Well, I do eat carbs. I am not strictly carnivore, whereas I eat 100% meat. I have this little thing called vegetables from time to time. Um, Shantae makes this amazing Brussels sprouts where she cooks it in bacon fat. Oh my goodness. Or really cooks the cauliflower, actually bakes the cauliflower in either olive oil or, again, bacon fat in a cast iron skillet. Oh, to die for. It's so good. Now, those are carbs, believe it or not. Carbs are not just bread, pasta. People often think it's just breads and pasta. But that aside, do you actually need them in the first place? Now, in 2005, the U.S. Board of Nutrition deemed that you don't actually need carbs to survive. Now, carbohydrates are really a performance fuel if you look at all the macronutrients being carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Now, if carbs do not help with protein synthesis, now that's actually just rebuilding muscle tissue, rebuilding your cells from the damage you do throughout a given day. And let's face it, whether you are a hardcore athlete or you sit in your ass all day and do absolutely nothing, you still break down each and every day. You need to build that up. And that's proteins, really amino acids. Fats are just this long, sustainable fuel that your body utilizes and also utilizes for hormone production, which is quite essential. And we've done so many different podcasts and talks about the importance of fats and hormones. Now, coming back to carbs, if it's a performance fuel, what would happen if you put too much fuel in your car? Yeah, it's going to spill over all over the gas pad. They're going to have to shut down the gas station. Big emergency, right? You have to call in a lot of different agencies, all because they took too much fuel in for their car. Well, going back to the metaphor of you being the car, what happens if you put in too much fuel, too many carbs? Now, just to get a good understanding, if I do a short HIIT workout, I'm not going for hundreds of grams of carbs by any means, and people do that. Remember, if you are taking 4 calories per gram of carb, if you take in a couple hundred carbs times 4, what are you going to get? You can get like 800 calories right there. Now, if you're just lifting weights for an hour, you're only burning 200 calories, so you're already overeating right there. What I will do if I go out for, say, a 10-mile run and I've got just a long Spartan up workout, getting ready for a race or something like that, where I have obstacles in the middle and resistance training, pretty much if you can figure out how to torture your body, that's the way to do it. Of course, in a productive manner. I will ingest 50 grams of the I Prevail Rehab slow digesting carb. I was using the UCAN one, which is actually more of a modified cornstarch. Not a fan of that, simply because, well, it's genetically modified corn, and it's corn crap as opposed to, in this case, a pea starch. Slow digesting, and I do notice a difference. I get that long, slow burn. I like utilizing that with 10 grams of essential amino acids and some ketones, and I have just this long sustaining. I can go for 4 hours. Tried it, that's why I know, without hitting that true bunk. That's only 50 grams of carbs. And realistically, that may be the majority of carbs I have for the day. Add maybe a sweet potato or something in the evening time, and that's it. Fuel up perfectly. So do you need carbs? No. It's a fuel. Now, what are you actually doing? What do you need the carbs for? How many calories are you expecting to burn? Think of yourself as that car. Now, how about fiber? Do you actually need fiber? And again, the answer is going to be no. You don't actually need fiber. Think about it this way here. If you have a toilet, for instance, and it's clogged up, here's another metaphor. The toilet is your stomach and bowel, and it's already clogged up. Now, what's going to happen if you start throwing fiber on top of that? Is that clog all of a sudden going to whoosh out? Heck no. You're just going to gunk that thing back up until I'm calling Roto-Rooter at midnight because the bathroom here is flooded. Yeah. So let's not do that. I'll bring you more information about fiber because I know a lot of people are scratching their heads saying, isn't that good for the heart? Isn't that good for the blood? Isn't that good for your cholesterol? I'm going to get into that. No, don't need it is kind of the message that I'm going with here. If you got questions, comments, ask. Let's start a chat on this one. I know I've probably hit some buttons. As always, be a better version of yourself and live functionized.